Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. All right, you guys, I got a lot of topics today. I feel like I probably have almost 20 topics. These are going to be 2 long parts. Some of you guys will be happy. Anyway, you guys, first story up. Okay, so it came out yesterday that when our boy ASAP Rocky made it home from a vacation with his beautiful girlfriend, who is indeed infanticipating with his child, both their first, when his private plane landed in Los Angeles, the police was there waiting for him and he was detained. I'm not sure if he was arrested. I think maybe he was arrested, you guys. And they said that ASAP Rocky was involved in a shooting in November of 2021. This is now them following up on that accusation, which is just crazy to me. So apparently there's a guy that said that he was walking down the street and that ASAP Rocky and 2 other guys approached him and pulled a gun out on him. ASAP Rocky supposedly pulled a gun out on him and held it on him. And when the guy was able to get away and run, that they chased him, and that ASAP Rocky apparently shot the gun and one of the bullets grazed his left hand, you guys. And I am just listening to the story like, what? November of 2021? This is craziness. Like, I don't know what to believe. I would really pray and hope that this boy, while he is now the father of billionaire Rihanna, her first child anyway, not her father, but her first child, that he wouldn't be out there doing no bullshit like pulling a gun on somebody on the street and shooting at them. It is the most way out story. I mean, apparently the police must feel like they really have some good evidence if they were able, if they was able to go and arrest him at the airport. I just saw a video of, it looked like them breaking into his property, because they have like a huge like privacy wall. And it looked like they had like not the battering ram, but you guys know, like the thing that they use to like bust in the gate. All the police was out there. I'm sure, I don't know if it needed to be all this. I mean, could they have just told them that we was going to the house and could somebody open the gate? But anyway, we watching it on video. They busting the gate in, going in the house, and taking objects from within the house, like as evidence. So this is really the craziest story. And the stories have been crazier and crazier with Rihanna and ASAP. Well, actually, it's just been ASAP Rocky. Just last week, we were talking about him supposedly cheating on Rihanna. Okay, turned out that wasn't real. There's a blogger, his name is Louis Pisano. He's supposed to be a fashion blogger. I'm not familiar with him. But he actually put out a tweet apologizing to Rihanna and saying that, he got a tip from somebody. I guess he didn't do any due diligence by checking to see if any of the shit was real or true or whatever. He drafted a tweet and put it out there that ASAP Rocky had cheated on Rihanna with the shoe designer for Fenty. I guess for her Fenty, design line, apparently. And this is supposed to be an ex-girlfriend of ASAP Rocky's from years ago. Turns out none of the story was true. And that fashion blogger now says that, he's taken off from work, blogging for some time, because now he needs to do some inner reflecting and see if, he can do something about maybe his tendencies to be so messy. Okay, that he was disappointed with himself, basically, that he put this story out there knowing that he didn't know 100% if this was true or not. I guess trying to just get a jump on the story, like we have heard. I mean, either that or just putting out lies for clicks and views, because we know people do that as well. It's a way to drive more audience to your channel or to your page or whatever, your website. And he said he apologized. So I'm just like, So that ended up getting put to bed last week. We was like, okay, he wasn't stupid enough to cheat on Rihanna. Okay. And now we hear this story. And this story is like, now you cannot be out there child, that story makes absolutely no sense to me, but it seems to be serious enough. Like I said, the police was all over the place. There's going to be more to this story now. It's still very early. They haven't really released any information that's like, telling us exactly why he would even be approaching this certain person on the street anyway, so we just gonna wait and see. But I just had to go on and let y'all know that 2022 is not ASAP Rocky's year, child. You would think it was with him about to have his first baby with Rihanna and all. They look so happy together. But I did tell you guys, I told you guys that in a in one of when they was on a red carpet somewhere, he looked terrified. I kind of had a real quick glance of his face, and it kind of looked like he had that look like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into kind of thing. He looked overwhelmed. Not to say that he out there shooting motherfuckers on the street and everything, but come on, what is going on? So we just gonna wait and see. I know that Rihanna doesn't need this kind of drama in her life right now, about to have this baby. Who wants to be dealing with legal problems like this? This is criminal shit, So we'll see. We'll see, you guys. But what do you guys think about that? Are you believing these rumors? I really do come from the school of thought that usually when there's smoke, there's fire. But then I also have to keep it real and just remember that, I don't know. The fact that they made up the cheating story, that's one thing. But this is like something else. The police, y'all, we gonna see. I just know that I hope ASAP Rocky ain't out there blasting the flat jammy on motherfuckers. I just really, really hope so, you guys. But we'll keep our eye on this story. And when I know more, I will let you know. Tell me what you guys think, though. Do you believe it? ASAP Rocky out here shooting niggas in their hand? Let me know. All right, you guys, next story up. So I guess we'll talk about Real Housewives, the franchise. We've had a couple of stories that have landed. One that just landed last night, and that was with Nene finally going on and suing the Bravo network. She's suing NBC Universal. She is suing Andy Cohen, and she's saying that all of these people fostered a negative and racist environment while she was a Real Housewives of Atlanta, and now she wants to sue them. Crazy story, you guys. But she says through the years of 2008, from 2008 to 2017, when she was on the show, she said that she was on the show with Kim Zolciak, and that Kim Zolciak said racist things to her that she complained about all the time to the higher ups, and nothing was done. I hadn't heard stories about racist, I hadn't heard stories about racist feelings, that Nene felt like she was being, that Kim was saying racist things to her. Nene never really spoke on that. I almost feel like I can remember at some point Nene even saying that Kim wasn't racist, a long time ago, because there was times when people were saying that Kim was racist. Remember when she had her best little nigga, Sweetie? You guys remember how she used to talk to Sweetie? That was her assistant, and it was almost embarrassing to see how she treated Sweetie. We wasn't sure if she was treating Sweetie that way because Sweetie was black, or if she just had this whole, like, I am better than you, this, what is the word that I'm looking for? That she just felt like she was a higher up than Sweetie, and that she was just talking down to her. Wasn't sure if it had anything to do with her race or just the fact that Kim thought she was better. Okay, but she did used to say some problematic shit to Sweetie. Now, of course, when we think back at the times when Kim Zolciak was on the show, when they were on the show, with Nene together, they would say shady shit to each other. And Kim would say things to Nene, and Nene would take them in stride, or she would like water off a duck's back, and then she would say some shady shit back to Kim. It was kind of what the banter was between the two of them. Of course, that was a certain time when you could do those things. Today, in this environment, in this community, Black people are not as accepting of white people having things to say negatively about Black people. So you have to be careful. But you have to remember that in that time, nobody was complaining about Kim saying, not to the point where Nene felt like she was being harassed and that she wanted to be off the show or that she wanted something to happen to Kim. I don't think I've ever heard Nene say that she wanted something to happen to Kim for racist things. Okay, so this 9-year stretch, she didn't say anything. But then when she got off of the show, there was whispers of her obtaining a lawyer because she was thinking about suing for racism. She did accuse them of being racist, but she didn't bring the lawsuit. Well, now we got an official lawsuit against them. And it's interesting to me because didn't Nene just say that she would go back on the show? You know, I wonder how they're going to deal with this legally. I need my rock star lawyers. The real ones, you guys already know. I need you guys to let me know. It's like over these last few years, she has said that they were racist. Then she said that she would go back on the show, that she just needed to sit down with Andy, you know, and discuss some things. But she feels like there are some things that have been left kind of on the table that they haven't, you know, sewn up and closed it, you know, real nice and pretty like. So she felt like she had some issues that she needed to handle with Sheree, and some issues, I guess, that she needs to handle with Candy and all these other people. So she was like, she would come back on the show. You know, all she needed to do was talk to Andy. Well, Andy was just like, yeah, no, thank you. Okay. Because I was pretty sure that after the whole racist thing that she had burned that bridge. Well, honey, not only did she burn the bridge, but she blew that shit up now because this is definitely going to ensure that she will not get back on that show. I'm sure she's thought about it. I'm sure she understands that. And now she's just going for broke. Like, okay, I'm just going to do what the fuck I need to do then. I'm about to sue these motherfuckers. But yeah, I'm just like, whoo-wee. What do you guys think about that? Think about the time when all this was going on. Did you feel like Kim was racist, or was these things that we all accepted when we watched the show? You know, and then of course today, I don't think Kim would even be stupid enough to say and do some of the things that she did on the show today if we took those things from 2008 and brought it to today's time, you know. So you guys let me know what you think about that. So far, NBC, Universal, Bravo, Andy Cohen, nobody has commented on it. Nobody has taken any action against this. This is just, you know, fresh off the press that Nene is suing the whole lot of them. And I was just like, girl, okay, we'll see how it works out for her. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know who her lawyers are that's advising her to do something like this, but I guess she just feels strong enough. I kind of feel like it's bullshit. I just kind of feel like it's bullshit. But of course, we'll just wait and see what the evidence is, what she comes up with and says. If they have any kind of paper trail or things written down that notifies, you know, that shows that she was indeed putting in these complaints, that HR might have been ignoring them, or maybe they did have a conversation with anything that they got to show to prove that they wasn't ignoring. If Nene did even bring this to the, you know, to the higher ups, that she felt like she was in a racist environment. So, but I'll tell you, it feels like we just reaching. It really does give me that I'm just reaching because I'm mad at them. They are ignoring me, and I'm just going to make as much of a fuss as I could. But I might be seeing it wrong, but that's how I see it. So y'all, if you feel differently, y'all let me know in the comments. Do you think that Nene has a case here, or do you think she's just barking up a tree that ain't nothing up there that worries about her? So y'all let me know what you think. Also, Real Housewives related. This is Potomac this time. Everybody knows about Ashley Darby filing for legal separation from Michael Darby. Okay, they've been married 7 years. I done told y'all. What have I told y'all about that 7 year? I done told y'all, and it comes down that way every single time. But they've been married for 7 years, you guys, and they have decided to pull the plug on things, okay? She put out a statement that said basically that she and Michael, when they first got together, they loved each other and they wanted the same things for each other and for their marriage. And then as time has gone on, whether or not it's been from him messing around or them having problems in their marriage or the scrutiny from the reality show, whatever it is, they have somehow kind of grown apart. And now the things that they want don't line up anymore. Okay. And because of that, the only way for them to really be happy in their lives is that if they separate. All right. Of course, they do have these 2 brand new babies. Remember, Ashley really wanted those kids. Michael went on ahead and gave them to her. Child, we saw it all play out. Ashley, honey, that bitch played the long game, didn't she? Had that prenup changed, switched around, okay? Stay a certain amount of time, get a certain amount of money. If there's any infidelity, then she gets half. Like all of this, right? Okay. Well, it looks like, sis might be getting a pretty hefty payday because Michael is worth quite a bit of money. He is in real estate. And we don't know exactly what happened. We don't know exactly what happened. I'm sure it'll play out on this next season of Real Housewives of Potomac. We do remember Ashley saying that if Michael is ever caught cheating again, that she is out. And she's made it very clear to him. He understood what was going to happen if he did cheat. So we'll see if that comes up on the show. Now, I did just read this morning that apparently a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, there were rumors floating around that he was cheating because he was seen at some wedding in Columbia, South Carolina with a woman that very clearly was not Ashley, okay, a brunette. I was like, you sure it wasn't Ashley with one of them god-awful wigs that she used to wear on... them dark wigs that she used to wear. But no, they said that it wasn't Ashley. It was some other woman. Okay. That is just real loose, real unreliable, lukewarm tea. We don't know for a fact if he was there in the capacity of cheating with this woman. You're at a wedding. Okay. It's not like he was at a club or lounge or a bar or something, where the environment already kind of gives you that feel of somebody that's trying to do something on a deal. I mean, he's outside, he's at a wedding, people are there, people are watching, knowing that he's not there with his wife. Like it just doesn't sound like, unless he was rubbing on the girl's leg, had his arm around her, unless they were really close and intimate at the wedding, which you normally aren't at a wedding, then. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes of that. But all we do know is that she said that they are going to raise their children together. They want each other to be happy, whatever their lives, the direction that their lives take from now is what it's going to be, but it won't be with them together. Okay. So it was funny because people were I don't know if anybody was really shocked that it was coming. I think that we're not surprised. We're not surprised that that this happened. They've had their issues, but I've always kind of felt also like Ashley just was like, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna make it because she knows her husband best and he just can't get right. So she just gonna ride it out until she has to, and then she gonna put it in the paperwork. And that's what it looks like has happened. And Michael might not even care because when you know that this situation that you are putting yourself in is going to mean that you might lose half your fortune to this woman and you got kids and all of this and you still do it, Michael might just be like, fuck it. I mean, you could tell last season on Real Housewives of Potomac that he did not, I won't say he was miserable, but he was getting to that point. He didn't want to be with Ashley. He didn't want to have sex with her. We remember how they used to be. Okay, if he continuously gets into these situations where he's with other women or men, because that's been one of the things that they suspect as well. Maybe it is time for them to not be together. But Ashley sure did get them 2 babies in, didn't she? Not 1, but 2. Okay, so Ashley is about to take her 2 little babies and all this money and go on about her life. And I guess I can't say that I'm mad at it, child. I'm not mad. Because, honey, sometimes you got to work smarter, not harder. Okay? But we're gonna see. I'm sure a lot of this is gonna play out on Real Housewives of Potomac. Like I said, I think that show is gonna be returning, what they say, in July or something like that. So we're gonna see it all then. But we won't be seeing Michael too much on the show anymore, which is not, he wasn't really on the show much last season. So he will be gone, and it'll just be Ashley. Okay, and I guess getting through this legal separation, because in Virginia you have to be legally separated for a year before you can file for divorce. So this is what we're doing. Looks like it's a wrap on that. All right, you guys, so I got a couple of stories coming out of Atlanta, which are just crazy. So, okay, first story, Cash Out. Okay, mama named him John Michael Hakeem Gibson. You guys remember Cash Out? He had the song back out in 2012-ish. I think it was Cashing Out. Well, fast forward to 2022, 10 years later, Cash Out has decided to pick up other hobbies. And he was just arrested for being the leader of a sex cult out here in Atlanta, Georgia. They have actually said that he was the leader of a criminal enterprise, and he was arrested on multiple charges. He, along with 4 other people, were arrested for multiple charges of rape, sex trafficking, and racketeering. 41 indictments in total for these 5 people. The charges allege rape, aggravated sodomy, human trafficking, and racketeering, and that as the leader, he forced women, Cash Out forced women into prostitution. It said that he would use his connections in the music industry or the entertainment industry and lure these women in, and thinking that they were going to be working, I guess, within the industry. And then he would force them into prostitution. He is facing 25 years to life in prison. They said that they've only been able to rescue 2 of the women, but they suspect that there's many, many other women that are out there that are afraid to come forward, that have been brainwashed into thinking that they shouldn't come forward. So they're still trying to locate all of the other women. But yeah, apparently he had them in this house, and he was forcing them. I was just like, what in the fucking world? Now, Mr. Out put a statement out where he was waxing religious poetic, okay? Let me tell you what he said, and I quote, "The Lord says, I am the one who strengthens you. Why should you fear mortals who are no more enduring than grass? Have you forgotten the Lord who made you? Those who are prisoners will soon be set free and be even more prosperous." Okay, then hashtag free Cash Out. So clearly, Mr. Cash Out doesn't believe that he is guilty of doing anything. He is still in jail as far as I know. And yeah, just the craziest story. But you guys know that they say that Atlanta has quite a bit of sex trafficking. Because the sex industry laws here in Georgia seem to be really loose. And that there's a lot of things that are allowed. So, I mean, I guess that is the reason why. No, let me not get to lying. I am just assuming. It just seems like, why is it that Atlanta has been chosen to be the place where all this seems to go down? It's just a lot of this that we hear these stories quite a bit. So, we gonna see what happens with this. We're gonna see what happens with this. I think he was married. I actually remember kind of scrolling past an interview where his wife was saying that she was brainwashed into thinking that he was doing something good. Like, so child, it's a whole lot with Mr. Cash Out. But they went on and arrested him and these 5 people. And I guess they are going to be getting their defense together and try to fight this, but ain't looking good. Hopefully the women that were affected, come forward, because they're not going to have much of a case if they can't get the people to cooperate that he forced into this prostitution, So we'll see. But that's one of the stories that come out of Atlanta. Next story that we're going to talk about is rapper Archie Eversole. Now, you guys know he is the rapper, or you might not know, but he was the rapper that created the song We Ready. Okay, we ready. We ready. Some. You know the song. I don't know the words. But anyway, he created that song apparently 2002 or something for the Atlanta soccer, the soccer team here in Atlanta. Well, that song has blown up to becoming like the anthem for like sports teams everywhere. You know, that is the song that they play. We've heard it on commercials. We see them playing it before the games. You know, any sports shows, that song is the one. Okay. So Archie Eversole is the one that created that song and was going to be able to, I'm sure, making money off of that song alone for the rest of his life. The sad thing about it is his life was cut short as he was killed by his brother, okay? They're saying that his brother, Alexander Cross, shot him and killed him. The story is all over the place, you guys. I have read plenty of stories about this, and the details are confusing. I have read stories that he was at a gas station that he was shot and killed. Then I read that he was actually shot at home, and then he was at a gas station where they took him to the hospital and died 9 days later. Then I also heard that he was shot at his home, and that the brother was picked up at the gas station. So it's something about this gas station. Maybe that's probably the story, is that the brother was picked up at the gas station, but Archie actually was supposedly shot in his home. Just read this morning, actually. Shot in his home, in his bed while he was asleep. Apparently, him and his brother, I guess, lived together. The brother went into the room and shot him in his face. Okay? And they're saying that he had told the police, because he died 9 days later, like I said, that he did tell the police that he was asleep. He woke up and somebody was over him and all he saw was the gun and they shot him. He wasn't able to make out who the person was. But the police, I guess the evidence in the home showed blood going to the brother's room and, all of this. And somehow they ended up arresting the brother. I guess it doesn't really matter if it was at the house or the gas station or what, but they arrested the brother, and Archie was rushed to the hospital, died 9 days later. Okay. Now, of course, the mom is saying that there's no way that her other son killed her son, that her two sons were involved in any kind of conflict. She said that she spoke with the neighbors and there was never any fighting, any arguing, not the best. I just know my heart breaks for that mother, because knowing that your children, your one child is responsible for killing the other child, that's a whole lot, for that's just terrible. That's terrible. So I'm imagining that she doesn't want to believe that her one son would be able to even try to kill the other child. So prayers up for that mama, because I'm sure she's going through. But if Alexander Cross is the person that's responsible for killing Archie Eversole, then he's gonna have to go on and go to jail and whatever else comes his way. If he's guilty, then you got to pay for it. So real sad story. But that happened out here in Atlanta too, actually in DeKalb County. Just a whole lot happening out here this way, you guys. But Archie Eversole, 37 years old. And I don't know if he was married or had any kids or anything, you guys, but rest in peace to Archie Eversole. All right, you guys, just a real for quick, okay? I guess I can give you guys a real quick Rona check-in. We can just look at the numbers and see what's what. Hold on one second. All right, you guys, so let's see. As of April 20th, this was on April 20th, we had 43,357 cases reported. We have 15,061 people hospitalized. 1,944 of those people are in the ICU. And we've had 386 deaths. So again, if you guys remember from last week, I think the deaths were 500 and something. Now we're down 386. So the deaths are still declining. However, the amount of people that are catching the virus is up about 50%. So a lot of people are still contracting the virus. And the way that they seem to be approaching this is that they just probably feel like, oh, well, everybody is going to get it anyway. You just going to have to deal with it. Try to get as vaccinated and as boosted and as covered as you can. Deal with it when it comes and then, go on about your business. They also said that because now people have at-home tests, that the number actually might be underreported, because if you take the test at home, you see that you have it, you have it. People aren't going to get double checked officially. Some are, but a lot aren't going to get official checked at a location. They're just going by their at-home test. So it might even be more people than that are getting the virus, but people are just going to have to make do. They said 77% of the country has at least one dose of the shot. 66% are fully vaccinated. Okay, if you're 65 and up, 95% of that population have at least one dose. 90% have full vaccination. So our senior citizens are doing what they need to do to make sure that they're covered. Is everybody the fuck else? Okay, that's that's keeping this virus alive. But like I said, I think it's to this point where it's just going to be a part of our lives, and we will all get it at some point. It's just the best defense is to try to be as immunized and, built up your immunizations. Your immune system as strong as it can be. Okay. Now, the reason why I said the government is just sort of like, y'all just do whatever the hell y'all got to do to stay safe, is because now they have finally lifted the mask mandate. Remember, I told you guys last week that they were going to extend it on to like May 3rd or something like that. Well, they sent it to court. The judge was like, no, throw it out, get rid of the mask already right now. So now you can get on your plane, you can get on your train, you can get on your bus, you can get on the taxi, wherever you got to go. You ain't got to have a mask on anymore. They cannot enforce it, and you are free to be at the airport and all these other locations without your mask, you guys. Just because they're saying that you don't have to wear a mask, that doesn't mean that you can't wear a mask. If you feel like you are going to be safest having a mask on, I especially would wear a mask if I was on a plane, because that is recycled air. You're in a closed cabin, for however many hours. Yeah, keep your mask on, but you don't have to now. That is what they're saying. What else could you say but like, okay. I guess okay. I'm actually going to be wearing my mask all the time because I feel safest when I know that I'm covered. If it's an environment where I'm in close quarters with a lot of people, I'm just going to keep the damn mask on. So you do what's best for you. I'm going to do what's best for me. But you guys, like I always tell you, what do I tell you? Okay, wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, even if they say you don't have to. All right, you guys, I have a couple of deaths that I have to report. First, DJ K-Slay. Mama named him Keith Grayson. He died the other day from complications from COVID. Okay, so like I tell you guys, it's still out there and people are still suffering and people are still dying. That news came from the radio station that he's worked on for over 20 years, Hot 97. They announced that he had passed. And in the family statement, they said, a dominant figure in hip-hop culture with millions of fans worldwide, DJ K-Slay will be remembered for his passion and excellence with a legacy that will transcend generations. We have many New York artists, many artists all over, but a lot of them were New York artists that have worked with him over the years that, said their condolences. Fat Joe, LL Cool J. They sent up their well wishes and their prayers for K-Slay and his family. He was 55 years old. Rest in peace to DJ K-Slay. Also, another death that we have to talk about is that of Roderick Pooh Clark. He was one of the members of the 90s group High Five. You guys remember them, I Like the Way, and many other songs that they came out with, but I Like the Way is probably their biggest hit. He died, I think they said from pneumonia, complications from pneumonia. Apparently, he was actually in a car accident back in the early 90s that left him paralyzed from the waist down. And they said that he's always had health issues stemming from that accident and from his injuries from that accident that he's been dealing with over the years. Apparently, over the last few weeks, he's been in and out of the hospital, with the illness, with this pneumonia. And then I guess the pneumonia finally fatally, it became a fatal illness and he ended up dying. He was only 49 years old. So both of these are like really young, when you really think about it. 49, 55, just awful, you guys. But rest in peace to Roderick Pooh Clark. Let's talk about the conversation that DJ Envy and his wife, Gia, I thought her name was Gia, but I guess it's Gia. It feels like that's what he was calling her. But anyway, the interview that everybody is talking about as they promote their new book that they have about their relationship coming out. Okay. So you guys know that DJ Envy and his wife, I believe they have a podcast, and that podcast surrounds topics about relationships, family, parenting, all of these things. So they've kind of coined themselves as, the people that can speak on a successful relationship because they've been able to do it for over 20 years. They just did an interview talking about the book. And, of course, the interviewer is asking them many questions about their relationship and, and they're just giving their say on what has happened in the past, because evidently these two have been together since they were in high school. So we can safely say that these two grew up together. So, as you grow up together, you have your bumps and your bruises. And, we've known that DJ Envy was messing around with Erica Mena. That's how we got to know who she was before she came on Love and Hip Hop, or right after she was on Love and Hip Hop. So that was kind of how we've come to know their relationship. But of course, the relationship, at least we thought, we assumed was growing positively. And I guess that's what it is doing. They have all these damn kids now, and they continue to have their children, and they seem to be happy. And all of that, right? Well, what everybody seems to want to talk about is the fact that Gia was talking about their sex life, and that she would fake her orgasms when they first got together, maybe for the first 10 years, because she just wasn't getting the feeling. She said that she would feel bad. She would look up at her husband. He was putting in all this work and he was working hard, and she could tell that he felt like he was doing something. So like to reward him and to make him not feel lesser than, she would fake an orgasm just so that he could feel better about pleasing her. Okay. And she said that this went on for, the first 10 years of their relationship. Now, remind you that they have been together over 20 years now. So this is from, if they met when they were 15 to 25 years old. Okay. And, of course, everybody is making a big deal out of it. Like, oh, he's not satisfying his wife. She's been faking orgasms the whole marriage and all of this. And I mean, the whole thing is, when you first get started having sex, you don't know about all the ins and outs of all of that. It is very hard for a lot of women to have an orgasm just from regular penetration, okay? It's difficult for some. Some people have to be stimulated in many other ways, facing a place, I guess fingers and doing whatever else that's going to get you there. But I think it's pretty known that a lot of women don't have orgasms just from having regular penetration sex. So I don't really care that she said that happened, that they was faking orgasms. It's just sort of like, when you think about it, you're on a show that's, you're given like all of your most intimate answers to. And you have to know in this day and age of social media how people are going to just twist and turn and flip that story and make it seem like you not sexually pleased and you with this man and you having all these kids and having a lot to say and laughter and all of that. But, I guess I would just be like, girl, don't tell nobody. Okay? Sometimes you got to fake it so the nigga can just get up and everybody can go to sleep. All right. And then there's many other times when women just don't want to have to fake it anymore. And you have a conversation with them so that you can just get to the point. Like, what is going to make this happen for you? Okay. And when you're younger, you don't have that conversation because you're not really comfortable. You're already not comfortable sexually, with yourself, and then with the other person, you might not even know how to get yourself there. So how do you tell somebody else how to do it? So these are just things that come with maturity and, over the years, and when you're with somebody and you're with a partner that you love and you trust and you feel safe enough, and you guys can have these conversations so you can get to where you need to be so everybody can be happy. Okay. So 10 years. Okay, that was a long time, but they were still young, and now she's gotten to the point where I'm sure that they done figured it out and everybody is happy. So, we can just still kiki and laugh about it. It's just sort of embarrassing for him because, you've got people that's really kind of in your bedroom now. People are talking about your sex life. I don't want people talking about my sex life because that's a private, intimate moment with my spouse, or my significant other, whoever I'm with. So I don't want people to be talking about it. All right. And then we also love to because DJ Envy is like kind of one of those personalities anyway that kind of is a know-it-all and feels like he's always got it together. So this gives us some, this gives people room to tease him because it's just like, nigga, why you knowing everything over there? Your wife over there is faking, panting and screaming and everything and just wanting you to get off from jumping up and down on top of her. That's really what that's about. But when you listen to the, they seem to actually have a very good relationship. They communicate well with each other. And that's just really something that you can hope for when you get to be with somebody for over a long length of time, that you guys can relate with each other and talk to each other and communicate with each other. And, you get to that point. So, I was okay with it, but I knew as a man, and for that to be put out there, and that's definitely one of the things that all the blogs was talking about, that was something that probably was going to be a little bit more embarrassing for him. But yeah, you guys, it's not uncommon. Women don't always get there through penetration, so ain't nothing. So I'm not sure if this is a true story, but somebody was in my comments and they were like, oh, Monica and C Murder got engaged. And then somebody in my comments on YouTube said that Monica and C Murder got married. And I wasn't able to find any information on any of that. You guys, what I did see over the weekend is that Monica went to go visit her love of her life, C Murder, in jail in New Orleans over the weekend. It was the Easter holiday weekend, and it looks like she went there to visit him. We know that she visits him often. We know that she really loves this man. We know that they had a relationship back when she was young. And in the height of his career, he was arrested for murder, for killing this kid at a club. He was sentenced to a long time in jail. I don't know exactly how long the sentence was, but he's been in jail for a long time. Yes, we did get last year, I remember talking to you guys about Monica being hooked up with Kim Kardashian, I think through Lala or something like that, and that Kim Kardashian and Monica was trying to see about getting C Murder released early because there was some new evidence. There was evidently some new evidence that he did not pull the trigger and didn't shoot the person that ended up getting killed at the club. But nothing has come of that. The only thing that we got out of that talk was a real quick argument / confrontation between Monica and Master P. Because Master P's whole thing was like, we've been trying to get C Murder out all this time. Here she come out the blue as if Monica hasn't been around. But I thought we all knew that Monica was still trying to be there for him. But you know what? Monica probably was not around as much when she was married. Remember, she was married to Shannon, right? Well, now that she and Shannon are divorced, then she picked up this thing back with C Murder. And next thing we know, we started seeing her being around a lot. But I think Master P's whole thing was that she wasn't around during her time that she was married. Okay, and that they have been working on trying to get him out. Apparently, there was some sort of things that C Murder needed to do that he wasn't doing on his end. Master P was getting frustrated. I guess he wasn't cooperating with the lawyer. I don't really know exactly what the problem was, but Master P said that C Murder had dropped the ball, and that was the reason why they were having such a hard time getting them out, even though they had all this other evidence. And then now all of a sudden here come Monica and Kim Kardashian, like they the Captain Save-A-Ho, and that they about to get them out and all this. So Master P was like, I washed my hands to the whole thing, okay? Like, I don't think that him and his brother have any conversation any longer, and that he just was like, I'm gonna have to love him from a distance, and he gonna have to just try to work on getting himself out on his own. So I think Master P and their family pulled out. I think Monica has taken on the role of trying to see about getting him out early. When you read all that has happened and all that has gone on, it just kind of gives you the feeling that no, C Murder probably is not going to be getting out of jail anytime soon, and that he will be there for a long time. And that Monica seems to know this and has chosen to still, I don't even know if she's come out and said that that's her boyfriend, but so I don't know if Monica is still going to choose to date other people and all of that. I mean, that just might not be where she's at right now. She just came out of divorce. Maybe she just is like his really good friend that's supporting him. And, but I don't know. The pictures show them hugged up and, what can you say? I mean, can you be mad if this is the love of her life? If she wants to go there and share intimate moments of playing bid whist with him as they, and sit across the table from each other and put money on his books, and because they can't have any other type of intimate, they can't have any kind of intimate. They don't even allow that kind of stuff in the jails any longer. You can't have your moments where you guys are together for the weekend and you have sex with them and all of they don't give conjugals. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't do conjugals no more. So if she's fine enough with just sitting across the table from them, and what can you say? Ouch. Y'all blew in this damn cone. I promise you. He goes back to the doctor on Monday. My walls is all fucked up. That's him. That's the cone that you guys hear. But my walls are all fucked up, and I'll let you guys see him. Say hi to the people. That's his nice, pretty new bed I bought him down there now that he's not bleeding anymore. He finally stopped bleeding, so he got a nice new bed to be on. But anyway, yeah, hopefully that cone will be off on Monday. But anyway, getting back to this. I mean, what can you say? Let me ask you guys this question. Can you, a woman or a man, can you imagine keeping the torch lit for somebody that was a childhood? I mean, not a childhood love. She was grown when she was with him, but she was still very young. But I mean, do you think that you could keep the torch lit for somebody for all of these years and kind of still save yourself for them for whenever they do get out of jail? Not saying that that's what Monica's doing, but it's kind of feeling like that might be what she's doing, you guys. So, I mean, could you guys do it? I don't know. I think it would be different if you was already married to that person, you already had stuff established with that person, and then maybe you could possibly sit and wait for them to, get out of jail. But if it was just a boyfriend, this was a young love, you were young. I mean, who's to say? Maybe this was her soulmate, I just was like, girl, really? But it's interesting. Stranger things have happened. But, when you have a person that's successful in their career in the entertainment industry and they still do, Monica's always been kind of like, your hood girl that, so. Not saying that hood girls all just wait for their man to get out of jail. But I'm going to leave it alone. But y'all just tell me, could you guys do it? I don't know if I could. And I don't even know if I was the person in jail, that I would want somebody on the outside to be trying to wait for me to get out, especially if I knew I had a whole bunch of other years. Girl, go on and live your life. Go on and live your life. And then when I get out, we'll see what we can do then. Oh, she's there, you guys. Monica might be that ride or die. Might be that ride or die. Anyway, how much longer C Murder got in jail? Y'all know? Y'all know, let me know. And then let me know, would you be hanging around for him to get out?